Hello everybody, it's VegiDarian here, and today we are doing a Pokemon tier list. Now originally I wanted to do a tier list ranking every single Sinnoh Pokemon, but I feel like that would kind of spoil my team for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, so instead we're going to be doing every starter Pokemon. Now before we start, I just want to make it clear that these are my opinions. Some Pokemon I've used more than others, and that's going to impact the rating. So, without further ado, let's begin. So we're starting off with a classic. We're starting off with Bulbasaur. So, I feel like Bulbasaur is a very solid A tier. I've used a Bulbasaur multiple times, and he's the best Kanto starter. Let me just make that clear. He's the best Kanto starter. Squirtle. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I feel like he very solidly goes into A tier. Next up is Ivysaur, and I feel like Ivysaur is an S tier. The first S tier of the list. I just like the entire line. Like Venusaur, we're going to put him in A tier. I'll talk about him a little bit more. But I just like the entire line. It's the bulb. The bulb slowly blooming into a flower. Just the whole design concept. It's great. I feel like I like Ivysaur's design the best out of the three. And Venusaur, without his Mega, I like Ivysaur a tiny bit better. So we're going to put Venusaur in A tier. I'm not counting Megas, Gigantamaxes, exclusive Z moves. I'm not counting any of those. Just all the Pokemon. No extra forms. Just the Pokemon. Next up is Charmander. Now, Charmander, I've used him a ton. Don't know if I like him this much. Maybe this much. Yeah, or maybe this much. I think I'm going to stick him in... We'll stick him in A tier. Yeah, we'll keep him in A tier. Charmeleon is just... He's just kind of there. I don't like him as much as Charmander or Charizard. So we're going to stick him in B tier. Charizard, on the other hand, is an S tier. Let's be honest. He's an S tier. He's Charizard. What more do I have to say? Not even taking the Gigantamax and the 2 Megas into account. It's Charizard. I love using Charizard. Next up is Best Boy Squirtle. Now, Squirtle, he's A tier. Yeah, I feel like all the first form Kanto starters are A tier. Wartortle, or Wartortle, if you would like to say, would be... I would put him in A tier. But I just like his design more than Squirtle's, so he's S tier. And Blastoise is also S tier. He has cannons on his back. That's so cool. And I've used all these Pokemon multiple times, the Kanto ones. That's why I'm not really going over my experience with them, because I've used so many different varieties. So we're going to put him in S tier, because I like Blastoise a lot. Now onto the Johto starters. This one's going to be really quick, because I've only done 2 full playthroughs of Johto games. Not counting the Kanto region, just Johto. From the start to Lance. And I don't think I've ever used a Chikorita. And I just don't like Chikorita's design that much. And that's the only thing I can go off of, because I've never used one. But just on designs, Bayleaf is going to S tier. Bayleaf is one of, if not the best designed middle stage Pokemon of all of the starters. Middle stage is where Pokemon kind of start lacking, because they're not as cute as their pre-evolutions, but they're not as cool as their final evolutions. But I love Bayleaf's design, so we're sticking it firmly in S tier. Meganium, on the other hand, see, if it looks more like it's built off of Chikorita's design than Bayleaf's design, right? Like, just the yellow and the dark green leaves looks a lot better than this green with the pink flower. I almost said purple flower. So we're going to put Meganium in C tier. Maybe D tier. Yeah, we'll stick it in D tier. Cyndaquil, Quilladin, and Typhlosion. I'm going to do them all at once. All B tier. I don't think I've used any of them, actually. I don't think I've used any of them. I like their designs. Not like this much, but around like this much, you know? Now, Totodile is the starter that I chose for both of my playthroughs of the Johto region. And I like Totodile. I like Croconaw. I like him as much as Totodile. And I love Feraligatr. It was really fun using one. It learns Ice Fang leveling up in Gen 4, which is the most recent playthrough I've done of Pokemon Soul Silver. And it was just a really good Pokemon to use. And I don't know about these two, because I've rarely used them. Alright, this one's going to be super quick. Trico, S tier. Grovyle, S tier. Sceptile, S tier. I think Grovyle and Bayleaf, like these two, are the best designed middle stage starters out of all of them. They just look so freaking cool. Like, look at Grovyle. Amazing starters to use in the games. Amazing designs. What more do I have to say? Alright, the Torchic line. Torchic is really cute. I wouldn't say he's like this cute. But he's about this cute, you know? We're going to stick him right in A tier. I've used the Torchic multiple times as well. And it does get speed boost as a hidden ability. I know you get Unburdened, and I don't really know about the rest of you, I'm going to be completely honest. Combuskin. F tier. F tier. If you're playing Gen 3 Hoenn, it gets Ember and Double Kick, and you're stuck with those until it evolves into a Blaziken. So it's not a fun Pokemon to use. It is a really bad design, because multiple people take its design out of context. So we're putting it in F tier. It's probably my least favorite starter, even worse than Meganium. I don't like Meganium. Blaziken, however, is an S tier. I love Blaziken. I love using Blaziken. I love its design. I love its ferocity. It's just a good design Pokemon. And it's extremely fun to use. Very fast, very aggressive. Not my favorite firefighting type. We'll see that one coming up. But a very good one. Do you like Mudkip's? Dead meme, but I love Mudkip. He's an S tier. Marshtomp has middle evolution syndrome. Not as cute as the first evolution, not as cool as the final evolution. Therefore, he's going firmly in B tier. I don't like the blue that's used on him, and I don't like his face and his design. He's too, like, roundish, you know? Like, he looks too chubby. Swampert is awesome. He goes in S tier. Water Ground is such a good type, and he's just really fun to use. Alright. This is my bread and butter. The Sinnoh starters. By far my favorite set of starters. I really hope this list doesn't contradict this, but I don't think it will. Turtwig. S tier. I've used the Turtwig so many times, and it's just such a cool Pokemon to use. It's so much fun to use. It gets Curse, it gets Bite, it gets Absorb, it gets Razor Leaf, all before evolving. I'm pretty sure it gets all of them before evolving. And one thing that I like about the Sinnoh starters is that they're very unique in their evolution levels. Turtwig evolves at level 18 into Grottle, but Grottle evolves into Torterra at level 32. Then you have Chimchar, who evolves into Monferno at level 14, but then Monferno evolves to Infernape at level 36. Yeah, the levels differ. So far, I think Venusaur is the only Pokemon to do that, because Ivysaur evolves into Venusaur at level 32. Then there's Piplup, who has the usual starter evolution levels. Alright, Grottle. I don't like Grottle as much as Turtwig, but I don't dislike it. I don't know what the common consensus is on Grottle, but I like Grottle. I like his design, so I'm putting in A tier. And then Torterra, the World Turtle. He's going in S tier. I love using Torterra. Earthquake upon evolution. Wood Hammer via Heart Scale. What more do you want? Torterra's a really fun Pokemon to use. S tier. S tier. S tier. I love the entire Chimchar line. I think out of all of them, Infernape's probably my favorite, and Monferno's probably my least favorite. But all of them are so much fun to use. Close Combat at level 36 for Monferno. Mach Punch upon evolution. Such a good Pokemon to use. And in Diamond and Pearl, it's your only Fire-type option besides Ponyta. And Platinum's my favorite game. My first time I played through Platinum, I chose a Chimchar. It was so much fun, man. Mixed attacker, very fast. And my favorite firefighting type starter, so take that, Blaziken. Piplup Supremacy. Now, penguins are my favorite animal. Water is my favorite type. So they made a water type penguin Pokemon as a starter in my favorite region. I have to put Piplup in S tier. What more do you want me to say? Prinplup, however, I can't put you in S tier. I just don't like your design. I don't even know if he learns any good moves. I know in Gen 4 you learn Metal Claw upon evolution, and Empoleon learns Aqua Jet upon evolution. I feel like those should have been swapped. I'm going to put you in B tier. I know Prinplup is the shining example of middle evolution syndrome, but I don't think he has it as bad as Marshtomp. Because honestly, I feel like his design's just kind of grown on me. It's definitely that transitional period from Piplup to Empoleon. So we're going to stick it in B tier. Empoleon, S tier. I almost just want to make like an A plus tier, S minus tier to put Empoleon in there, but then he'd be in a tier by himself. Probably my least favorite final evolved Sinnoh starter, but that least favorite doesn't mean bad. It's still good. I love using Empoleon, the water steel type. Yeah, it's the only steel type starter. Aqua Jet upon evolution, and it could learn, I think, not every HM, but it can learn most of the HMs in Sinnoh. So if you don't like it, you could just make it an HM Pokemon. Unless you're playing BDSP, because HMs have been removed. Well, not removed. You don't have to teach them to a Pokemon. You can just use them in the overworld. It's great. Alright, Gen 5. Now, if you asked me this like a few months ago, I would probably say that Samurot's my favorite starter from Gen 5. But in my most recent playthrough, I used a Snivy, and I loved it. I loved it. Snivy is going to S tier. Servine, on the other hand, I don't like its design as I like Snivy's and Serperior's design. But I don't dislike it either. So we're going to stick it in B tier. That's where most of the middle evolutions are going, now that I think about it. And then Serperior, S tier. It's getting really crowded here in S tier. A tier and B tier aren't as crowded, and these tiers are basically empty. But man, Serperior is just such a fun Pokemon to use. I'm not even taking Contrary into consideration, because you can't get that in the main story. It gets Coil, it gets Leaf Blade, it gets Giga Drain, it gets Aerial Ace by TM. I don't really know the other moves that it gets, because those are the moves I use in my playthrough. If you want to give it Contrary, just replace Coil with Leaf Storm, then boom, that's +2 every time you use it. Serperior is such a fun Pokemon to use. Plus, I just like its demeanor. It's the regal Pokemon. It's better than you, and it knows it. Tepig. Tepig goes in A tier. It's pretty solid. You know, he's a little cute. Pignite. Oh boy, another middle evolution syndrome Pokemon. We're gonna stick him in C tier. I don't like him as much as these. The third firefighting type. No, I don't dislike him as much as I dislike Combuskin, because, you know, Combuskin's down here. But I don't like him as much as I like these Pokemon, so we're going to stick him in C tier. Then Emboar. A lot of people don't like Emboar because he's like the last firefighting type Pokemon. He's bipedal. He should have been a fire dark type. Yeah, I've heard all that. He should have switched typings with Incineroar. But I don't dislike him. He's a very good Pokemon to use. We're going to stick him in A tier. And then, my first starter Pokemon out of all of them, we have Oshawott. Just the entire Oshawott line goes in S tier. Samurot's definitely like the weak link out of all of them, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe it's just the exaggerated whiskers or the fact that it went on all fours. I just don't like it as much as I like Oshawott and Dewott. Oshawott's so adorable. And in the anime, I haven't watched that much of the anime, but I've seen enough of Oshawott in the anime. He's so adorable. And plus, he's shaped like a little peanut. Moving on to Kalos. I like all the first stage Kalos starters. So I'm going to put Chespin in A tier. I haven't used one that much, but I've used one enough to formulate a pretty solid opinion on it. Chespin goes in A tier. Quilladin. I'm not going completely off of its design, but its design, man, just look at it. I do not like Quilladin. I don't like him. He's going in D tier. He's joining Meganium. I wouldn't say, well, I might put him in F tier. But I think I'm going to stick with D tier. And then Chestnut, I see what they're going for, the whole Knight, Witch, and Rogue that they're going for. But I don't know, Chestnut is very decisive. I don't like him as much as like the other grass starters, barring Meganium, of course. But I don't dislike him that much. So, I believe we should put him either B or C. I don't like him as much as I like Chespin. We're going to put him in C tier. I don't like him that much. His color scheme, it just doesn't look good. Alright, Fennekin. A tier. Pretty solid fire type. Braixen. I have to put Braixen in either A tier or S tier. Because if you get into Pokken when your final evolution doesn't, that has to give you some bonus points. So we're putting Braixen in A tier. Next up is Dell Fox. Didn't get into Pokken. I don't like Dell Fox that much. Yeah, we're gonna stick him in C tier. The Fire Psyche type, it's a good type. I just don't like its design. Like the ear hair, it's really, really gross. I do like the stick as a wand. And Mystical Fire is a pretty good signature move. I forgot to mention Spiky Shield is a pretty good signature move as well. Not as good as, say, King Shield from another Pokemon introduced in that gen. But I don't like them that much. So they're going in C tier. It's Froakie time, boys. S tier. Thank you. Greninja is my second favorite Pokemon of all time. For a while, it was my favorite Pokemon. Look over there. That's Greninja. Right there. I know I said I wasn't taking forms into account with this video, but I have to talk about Ash Greninja. He got his own Mega Evolution-esque form. And plus, he has the ability Protean as a hidden ability. Protean, one of the best abilities in the game. And he's just so much fun to use in all of the games. He gets so many cool moves. And plus their designs. I love the Frubbles. I'm a little ashamed that Greninja didn't get the Frubbles. Instead he got a sick tongue scarf. But the Frubbles are just so cool. I'm surprised they didn't work that into his own signature move. I know I'm talking about Greninja a lot and not like Froakie or Frogadier. But they're all kind of grouped in together. You know? I like them all equally. I love them all equally. Alright, next up we have the Gen 7 starters, and we're starting off with Best Boy Rowlet. He's spherical, he is adorable, apparently in the anime he somehow beat a Decidueye, so we are going to put him in A tier. Not my favorite out of all the Alolan starters, and not my favorite out of all the Grass-type starters, but I do like him a good amount. Cannot say the same for Dartrix, though. I'm not the biggest fan of Dartrix. He's gonna go in C tier. It's just, he's kind of bland, you know? Like, his design gives off personality. Oh, whoops. His design gives off personality, but it just doesn't look that good, you know? And plus, I have not used one as much as I've used the other Alolan starters. But Decidueye is an S tier. I love Decidueye's design. I love his typing. Grass Ghost is really awesome. Only downside is he's kind of slow, but that's the Alola region for you. So yeah, S tier. Litten. I'm gonna put him in B tier only because I like Torchic a lot more. Torchic's just a bigger Litten, but he has a fire bell. His design is better. I just like Torchic a lot more. Plus, he's quadrupedal, unlike Incineroar. But I am gonna put Incineroar in A tier. Almost S tier. But I'm gonna stick him in A tier. He's a wrestler. He's a fire dark type, so I guess that means he's a heal, but he's still a wrestler. Yes, these two should have switched typings. I definitely agree. Emboar keeps moving. And plus, he shoots fire out of his freaking flaming belt. That is awesome. Poblio. B tier. I am gonna say, Primarina is my favorite final evolved Alolan starter. But Poblio, he's alright. He kind of gets overshadowed by Rowlet and Litten. And then there's Brionne, which I just don't like. I don't like Brionne's design that much. Like, it's okay to use. Poblio was a starter that I chose for my first playthrough of Moon. But, like, Brionne doesn't have any, like, defining characteristics. You know? Like, Dartrix has a secondary flying typing. I know Rowlet has it too, and it turns into the ghost typing. But dual types are just more appealing to me. More versatility. And Torchic is the best Pokemon of its evolutionary line. And Brionne just doesn't have that. Plus, I don't like its design. Primarina, on the other hand, is S tier. First fairy-type starter, probably the best starter in the game. I love its design. I love Primarina. Before we get into the Galar starters, we're just going to quickly go over Pikachu and Eevee, because Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are Gen 7 games. Pikachu has been a starter in 2 games, as opposed to Eevee being a starter in 1. So, Pikachu, I'm going to put him in A tier. I don't like him as much as Raichu, but I do like him a lot more than these guys. So, we're going to stick him in A tier. And similarly with Eevee, plus in Pokemon Sword and Shield, I may or may not have found a shiny G-Max Eevee and a Den. So that was really awesome. And I've only ever found one shiny Pikachu, but that was for a friend. That wasn't for me. But yeah, Pikachu and Eevee, they're going to stay here. I like their evolutions a lot better. It's probably more obvious with Eevee than Pikachu, but they're going to stick solidly in A tier. Alright, the Galar starters. We're gonna start off with Grookie, and Grookie is a solid A tier. I love his design. He's a grass monkey. He has the twig in his hair. Alright, next up is Thwacky. Thwacky also has the sticks in his hair, but I don't like that shade of green on him. So we're gonna stick him in B tier. He is useful. I have used one. And out of all the middle stage starters, I wouldn't say he's the most useful, but he definitely is pretty versatile. Getting moves like knock off and double hit. So we're going to stick him in B tier. I don't like him so much. I like Grookie though. Middle stage evolution syndrome. Next up is Rillaboom. And out of all the Galar starters, Rillaboom's probably my favorite final one. So we're sticking him in S tier. He should have the drum in his hair, then just pulling out from behind him. And drum beating is a pretty cool move. Not the best signature move out of the 3 starters, but it is a pretty cool move. Next up is Scorbunny. Now, before I watched the Journeys anime, if you asked me where I put Scorbunny, I'd say probably like B tier, maybe A tier. But Ghost Scorbunny in the anime is so adorable. We're gonna put him in S tier. I love Scorbunny so very much. Next up is Rabu. Now, everybody compares him to Kid Kakashi, and I see why, because he has like the little thing over his face. But when I first saw him, I mainly compared him to Phaeton from Hunter x Hunter. And it's funny that I bring up that Phaeton reference because I'm wearing a Crollo shirt. It's the boy Crollo. I do like Rabu though, especially Go's in the anime. That whole tiny little character arc that they had. Yeah, we'll keep him in S tier. Cinderace, on the other hand, I don't like him as much as I like Scorbunny and Rabu. And I like the official artwork of him. I don't like his in-game model that much. But Pyro Ball is the best signature move out of all of them. But I don't like him this much. So I'm gonna put him in A tier. This is my bread and butter. We're going over Sobble. Now, Sobble was the Pokemon that I chose for my first playthrough of Sword. And I did not see any of the leaks. I didn't see any of the final evolutions. I was so excited to see what Sobble evolved into. But Sobble himself, S tier. I love Sobble so much. His design is great. And plus, he could just, in the anime, he could just camouflage himself in the water. And that's so cool. Kind of alluding to his final evolution that we'll get into. Next up is Drizzle. Drizzle. I call him Drizzle. When I first saw this evolution, I was like, oh, it's like a Frogadier-esque evolution, but he looks more emo. He looks like the representation of the middle stage starter. But I don't like him as much as Sobble, but I'm still gonna stick him in A tier. And then Intelion. Like I said, I didn't see any of the leaks. I was so excited when my Drizzle hit level 35 and I saw he was evolving. I was super excited, and then Intelion popped up on my screen. It's too thin, you know? It doesn't, Sobble's a little plump. Drizzle isn't as plump. Then you got Intelion, and Intelion's just really slim. It's really weird. It's the secret agent Pokemon. But its design just doesn't really appeal, you know? When I first saw this, my jaw hit the floor. Not because I was like, oh, this looks so cool. I was like, oh, what is this? It's grown on me over time, but I can't put it in, S tier, A tier. Gonna put it in B tier with good old Thwacky. So there we go. There's the tier list. Do you disagree? Probably. Are you mad that none of the Johto starters made it to S tier? Probably. But that is all for this video, so if you enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload. So yeah, that's all. Bye, guys.